Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is Jeremy Smith. About a year and a half ago, I brought you guys a video on how to set up Sony's Wi-Fi. Now, you guys are probably wondering, why is he making another Sony Wi-Fi setup video? The thing is, the procedure is kind of changed a little bit on the newer Sony cameras. So, if you have something like an A9, an A7R III, and A7III, or even the RX10 Mark IV, none of those cameras have these Sony Play Memories apps anymore. And so basically the procedure is a little bit different. Now, at some point in the future, Sony may bring back those apps, and I may have to update this video. And that's why I have been putting a date in the video description. So that's why this is going to be like, I'm not sure what this video is going to be called, but it will say 2018 on it. So just know that if you're watching this video at some point in the future, the steps in this video may no longer be applicable. But anyways, I will be making updates as necessary. With the new system, it's very similar to the old one in a lot of ways. If you go into your menu, there's actually this network menu here. And you see a lot of familiar things here. You do still see the send to smartphone function, send to computer, FTP transfer, view on TV. And there's even the control with smartphone option. So even though you don't have that smart remote embedded app, you still can control your camera via your smart device by going to that option. First though, I'm going to show you just simply how to transfer your images. Now, you can go in here and go to the send to smartphone option to do that. However, I find it to be a little bit easier if you are just simply reviewing your images. And let's say you're reviewing your images and you see an image that you want to transfer. Like if I wanted to transfer this image, all I would have to do at this point is hit the function button. The function button in playback serves as a Wi-Fi send button. So basically if I go in there and just press it like this, it asks me if I want to transfer this image or all with this date or multiple images. For the sake of demonstration, I'm going to go in here and just select this image like this. The camera goes to Wi-Fi standby, so this looks very, very familiar. Oh yes, and of course, if you are watching this video and your camera is one of the cameras that supports the apps, obviously go and take a look at my other video. But anyways, this looks very familiar. I still recommend pressing the delete button or the trash can button to just enter in the passcode. Instead of fiddling around with the QR codes, it's much easier. Once you do that, you can go into your phone's or your tablet settings, and you will basically pick out your camera from the Wi-Fi hotspot list. From there, once that connection is made, you can go in and go to your Play Memories apps. And then there it goes. It just immediately transfers over straight away. Now, obviously I've gone in and typed in that code previously, so I didn't have to type it in again. And that's the nice thing about this. Once you type in the code the first time, your smart device will remember that code, so you don't have to do that every single time. So that's basically how that works out. You can see how images transfer over pretty quickly. You still can't transfer RAWs. This is still just basically JPEG only. So even though this camera is set to RAW right now, they automatically get converted to JPEG whenever you send them this way. If I'm shooting in a studio environment, I'm wanting to have my RAW files go to a computer or something like that. Right now, as of this point in 2018, I still think that's best left doing it the old school way of using a USB cable. So if you guys want to, perhaps in a future video, I will, if you want me to, I'll make a video about doing tethered shooting with these cameras via cable. So that's how that works out. But anyways, okay. Also, if we want to be able to go in here and do a sort of link to the camera to control it, we can also do that by going into our menu. If we go to where it says control with smartphone, we can turn that option on. I'm going to get out of my app here for a second. Turn this on. And basically it's going to work exactly the same way. Once we have this turned on, we can go down to connection. We're going to get back to that same familiar Wi-Fi screen. And from there, we can go over to our smart device, go to the Wi-Fi, and once again make that connection. This time, whenever we open up our Play Memories app, we're now going to be greeted by the live view display. So that's how that works out. So now you can see that I'm seeing my live view in real time. So it works out pretty well. Now, if you have your Bluetooth turned on here, it actually tells you to turn the Bluetooth off because apparently that can cause some interference issues. So anyways, it's best to turn that off and you'll get a little bit smoother and less laggy live view display experience, as you can see. You can go in here and you can control all your settings. Basically, what you can control depends on where you are on your mode dial. So right now I'm in manual, so I can control all my settings there. As I change my mode dial on the camera, you can see it update on the app as well. So I'll take us back to manual. And you guys will notice that you can change pretty much all your settings there. So I can go in here, I can change things like my shutter speed. And you can see that I'm getting exposure simulation, not only on the app, but also on the back of my camera display. You can change aperture as well. So you can see it stop down and open up. We can change our ISO. So everything is pretty straightforward here. It actually works very, very nicely. If we go over here to our shutter speed, we can even go down to bulb. I think this is actually pretty cool because it turns into a little slider here. I can slide it over like that. It will start exposing. And whenever I want to stop the exposure, all I have to do is go over and toggle this way. And then it's done. So pretty cool. We can even go in here and change things like our white balance. We can change our drive modes, and we can even control our self timer. So all this works pretty well. We can combine the timer with our exposure as well if we're wanting to be like in a family group shot or something like that. So it works really, really nicely. Now, one thing that is strangely missing is the tap to focus. If you look at the cameras that do have the Play Memories apps that we discussed in the last Sony Wi-Fi setup video, you could actually go in there and you could tap to focus, but that seems to be missing on all the newer cameras. Hopefully Sony will add that into their functionality or back into their functionality soon. Not sure why they took it off, but it is important to note that as of now in March 2018, it is missing. So just keep that in mind. The other thing that's cool about this is that if you want to, you can even sort of make up for Sony's lack of a LCD screen that can swing out and face forward by going in and using this app for your video and things like that too. So I switched the camera over to video mode. I can still go in here and change all my manual settings and everything on my app, but now I can basically use my smartphone as my monitor. So you can see I can come in here, and then it is possible for me to kind of see what I'm filming right now. I can see myself. I can kind of come in here, and I could conceivably go in here and use the app to start and stop the recording, which is kind of cool. So it kind of makes up for not having a proper like flippy out, spinny around screen. So that's how that works out. So pretty cool. Now, one other thing too that you guys may notice is that these cameras also have Bluetooth, and it doesn't work like the Bluetooth on, say, Nikon and Canon, where it kind of maintains this constant connection for transferring images. It works a little bit different. On the Sonys, the Bluetooth is mainly used for geotagging, so it can be used to maintain a constant connection with your smart device, but it basically just does that to get the location data. So if you want to use that, you basically just want to go in here and make sure that you have your Bluetooth function switched to on, just like it is right now. And then you want to have the location info link set option. You want to have that turned on as well. You can have it automatically adjust for time, area, and things like that. So that's optional, but you want to have the location link on for sure. Then once you do all that, you come over to your smart device and you tap on this option that says location information linkage. Go to OK there. And anyways, it tells us that the camera is not set up right now. So to do that, we just go to set the camera, just like that. And it says paired camera not found. let's see here, we're going to go over to the camera again. And there is an option here that says, let's see, if we go up to Bluetooth settings, we can go down to pairing. And as soon as we do that, it shows up on our smart device. So then I can tap the camera, they start to pair. Then the camera asks if it can pair with the iPhone, we hit OK there. And then now we get the same message on the phone and we have to go to pair again on the phone. And at this point, now they're officially paired. So once we have that turned on, what basically happens here is that as you take pictures with your camera, the camera just simply asks the phone where it is, and then it geotags the information that way. So if I were to go in here, oh, you'll also notice that we see that little icon here. This icon right here means that our Bluetooth is on and that we have our GPS link established, or our Bluetooth link established, and we have our location services turned on. Okay, so if we go in here and we take a photograph at this point, let's see here. There we go, that's better. So if I go in here and I take a picture, like that, it actually will get the location information from our phone. So whenever I go in here, you'll notice that it actually shows me in that bottom left hand corner some GPS coordinate information. So that's how that works out. So because of that, there's really no reason to worry about having GPS built into your camera. And so far, this is not something I use a ton. Because, you know, I know where my studio is. But if you're doing a lot of nature photographs and things like that, it can be very nice to tag your photos. And this seems to work very well in the times I've used it. All in all, I'd say this is a pretty good system. I think that Sony needs to definitely bring back the apps. Lots of users are outraged because they've paid lots of money for a lot of the non-free apps that Sony offers, and they can't use them on the newer camera. So I think that's a shame. Sony definitely needs to bring those back, or at least offer their loyal user base some type of recourse for that. Anyways, but all in all, so far, even without the apps, it still seems to work very well. If you guys have questions, write me in the comments below. And let me know what other types of Sony videos you'd like me to make, because as I've transitioned over from Nikon, I've learned lots of things about the cameras. I know I'll definitely be doing a setup video on how I have my custom functions set in, a few other things. But if there's anything else you'd like to see, let me know about that too. Don't forget to follow me on social media. I am known as Photog J the Great. I love to post lots of behind the scenes of my videos and all sorts of other things, so be sure to check that out. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Until next time, guys, this is Jeremy Smith, signing off.